Yo, what's up YouTube? Jay Traveling here, and today I'm gonna be attempting to fix my S19. Now, in previous videos you guys heard I did break it. I did trip the power supply. I was disconnecting these three fans to install this shroud for the 8-inch fan mod so I could cool it a little bit better and test it out. If it did work, I was gonna even test out overclocking it, but I sparked something inside the PSU while doing that, and it shorted it out. It would not turn back on. Now, I did test it with another PSU for my other S19 that's still in the window, and the PSU wasn't compatible. I found out pretty fast that there's multiple different PSUs that run at different voltages for the S19j Pros. Now, they're both 104 terahash models, so you would think that it would be compatible, but apparently I learned that they're not. Now, this I ordered off eBay. It's a brand new PSU, and it is the APW12. Now, there's no letter version to it. It's just a basic APW12 straight from Bitmain. Guy claimed it was brand new. Really don't care if it's brand new or not as long as it works. And I'm gonna get that on there. I'm gonna have to open it up to get my shroud here installed onto it so it will go into here. But they're actually fairly simple to swap out. Now, I did match this one up to the other PSU so that I got the right one. That is actually only one I found all throughout eBay in my searches without going directly to Bitmain. That seems like it'll be compatible with this S19j Pro. Now, I'm sure I could have just went straight to Bitmain, gave them the specs, sent them maybe a photo or two of the PSU and the coating on it, and they would have matched it up perfectly. Or my other option, which I still may do with this one, is to find a repair facility, send the PSU out to them, they'll get it up and going. I didn't go that route because I didn't want to ship out my entire ASIC in case they would have asked me to do so. I didn't even bother asking. So I didn't want to send the whole thing, but if I could find a place where I can just send the PSU and spend a little bit of money to get it repaired, I may do that, get this one fixed, and just have it as a backup, just in case I do something stupid with this one like I did with my old one and break it again, because this was definitely 100% a user error mistake. It didn't just break on its own like it could have, I guess. But I'm gonna go off camera behind it, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna do to transfer the power supply and what you need to do. It's a fairly simple process, only a couple screws and it slides out. Since I do have this shroud, there's a little bit more steps I have to take. Disconnecting the three fans is an optional step, which I took. If I wouldn't have taken that step, I bet this thing would still be working, and I wouldn't have had to spend a couple $100s on a new PSU. But let me show you guys how I plan on taking this apart and how easy it can be, and then I'll probably actually do the labor off camera, and then I'll show you guys inside the computer of it running. Now, I will let it run for a little bit so I can monitor the temperatures and make sure it's working before I show you guys in case it's a failure. But if it is a failure, we'll be right back here and I'll be telling you what I think I need to do next. All right, so right here is what I needed to match up. Now, I know it's a little hard to see in the video, but that coding, you can see the input, the model APW12, input 200 to 240 volt, I mean, they're all that, and then the 50/60 hertz 10 amp times 2, and then your output one of 12 to 15 volts at a 233 amp max, and then your output 2 at 12 volt 15 amp max. Now, this is what was different. Both of these were different on my other PSU, and that's why it didn't work. But if we go down to my old shroud down here, you can see that it is the same pretty much spec wise. The only difference between these is mine came with black fan grates on here, and this one has silver. And I think that's the only difference between the versions. But what I am going to do is disconnect this 6-pin, that goes to the board, and then this also goes to the board. I think it's a fan controller. Then I'm gonna unscrew these four. These go to the bus bars. Now, you do not want this plugged in. If this was plugged in and I touch these, I'm probably gonna get electrocuted, but this has been unplugged for a while. Now, capacitors may still have some juice running through them. I think that's where I went wrong, and when I was unplugging these, I hit this with a piece of metal and it kind of zapped me. And then I still have the one screw out here, and then this screw will come out and I'll slide it out. Now, the top piece is already off. That's just a couple of screws on the back. That's why this one's out. And then another screw that will be here. And then that just slides back and pops off. But we'll put that back on. Now this is the fans that I disconnected, which I'll probably do on this, but I will make sure I'm a little more careful, not be in there with metal. And then I'll get this on, but I'm gonna do this off camera because it's gonna be a little time consuming. Normally a quick power supply swap, since I wouldn't have all this other stuff to do, would be fairly simple. You can do it in like 5 to 10 minutes, but I'm gonna do it off camera. And well, as you can see, things didn't work out as planned, so it's up in my ASIC window. It is this middle bank here. It has the stock fans back on it at 2120-ish watts. The fans are a little faster than they were when I was first started the video, but it's on low power mode, doing 81 to 82 terahash at that wattage. And let's talk about why it has the stock fans back on it and why I left this on there. All right, so as you can see behind me, I got my 8-inch fan here. I got my fan spoofers here. I do still have the kit, it's over here, but when I first installed it and started running it, it started overheating my rig. Now, according to all reviews I've read, all the videos I watched on it, nobody else had this experience. So I did contact Fruits & Associate with the issue, and they also assured me that they've never heard of this issue. It seemed like it had some vacuum effect to it, like there was some kind of restriction. So there's other things I need to do with the miner, obviously. Something was either blocking the air, but it was definitely getting restricted somehow, and it wasn't, because this fan was working 100% on my grow tent, and it was working 100% just sitting like this. It was blowing air crazy. But when I put it on there, I can feel a lot of blowback on it. So I will try and install it again. And things I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart fully and clean it out. Also, they said my ductwork over here, try it without it on, because that could have been a restriction if there was too many bends in it, causing the blowback issue. The odd thing that was really happening was my inlet temperatures were hotter than my outlet temperatures, but eventually they would both get up to the point where the miner was shutting off and not hashing at all. But it's still up and running right now. I'll probably pull it down tomorrow. And the reason I left the shrouds on the power supply, obviously, is because it'll just make it quicker for me to install it again, because I do want to try and get this working. Now I may need to cut or figure out a way to get my exhaust shorter if I leave it here, so it's just a straight shot, if the bends is what the issue was. But for now, that's it. It's getting roughly 81 to 82 terahash. I shot the beginning part of this video a few days ago, and I just wanted to get it up and mining, up in the window, so I wasn't losing more time with it. I spent over a week, almost 2 weeks, waiting on that power supply after I bought it on eBay after breaking the first one. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.